Welcome to another lesson in class 7th. I hope you are all doing well and excited for an interesting class today. Today, we will be discussing one of the continents. Do you know how many continents are there in the world? That's right, there are 7 continents. Can you name them? Alright, let's take a look at the continents. Yes, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, Antarctica, Europe and Australia. I hope you are ready to learn about today's lesson on one of the continents, Europe. In this chapter, we will explore how the people of Europe have utilized their natural environment and resources. Let's take a brief look at the topics. Location of Europe, mountains, plains, rivers of Europe, peninsulas, islands, bays and gulfs of Europe. Climate, agriculture and sea routes of Europe. First, we will take a look. Keywords. Peninsula. A peninsula is a piece of land almost surrounded by water but still connected to the mainland on one side. Island. A land smaller than a continent and surrounded by water. Bay. A part of the coast where the land curves in so that the sea is surrounded by land on 3 sides. Gulf. A gulf is a large inlet from the ocean into the landmass. Concept map. Just look at the map and find out the locations of Europe. Europe is a continent bordered by the Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Mediterranean Sea and Asia. Europeans found a sea route to America 500 years ago, leading to migration. In ancient times, the Mediterranean Sea was considered the middle of the world by Europeans. The Ural Mountains mark Europe's eastern borders, not very tall, with Asia to the east and Europe to the west. Together, Asia and Europe form Eurasia, the common term for this landmass. Let us learn more about the mountains, plains and rivers of Europe. Mountains. Europe has snow-covered mountains like the Alps and Pyrenees. The Alps and Pyrenees are prominent snow-covered ranges in Europe. The Caucasus Mountains At Europe's southern border are tall and snowy year-round. Plains. Asia has more plateaus than Europe, with France, Germany and Spain having smaller ones. Eastern Europe, including Russia, Ukraine, Poland and Belarus, is known for its vast snowy plains in winter, creating rivers like the Dnieper and the Volga. Rivers. European rivers link people and goods across regions. The Rhine River connects industrial towns to the North Sea, boosting international trade. The Volga River's connection to global trade is limited by its flow into the Caspian Sea. Now, let's see about the peninsulas, islands, bays and gulfs of Europe. Peninsulas. Europe's shoreline varies, with the Baltic Sea eroding deeply and Italy extending into the ocean. Italy is a peninsula surrounded by the sea on 3 sides. Norway and Sweden are on the Scandinavian peninsula. Islands. Some Europe countries are surrounded by the ocean. Europe has many island nations like Great Britain, which is surrounded by the sea. Islands and peninsulas in Europe rely on the sea for connectivity. Sea transportation is a cost-effective and efficient mode of travel for Europeans. Bays and gulfs. Bays and gulfs are ocean areas surrounded by land on 3 sides. Bays have a wide curved opening like the Bay of Bengal and are perfect for harbours where ships can safely dock and unload cargo. Deep gulfs or bays are ideal for large ships as they provide enough water depth to prevent them from touching the ocean floor. Now, let's see the climate, agriculture and sea routes of Europe. Climate. Europe has a cooler climate than ours. Most of its countries experience snowfall in winter. Their summers, too, are not as warm as ours. Climate distance from the equator. Regions near the equator stay warm year-round. Temperature decreases, moving away from the equator. Polar regions are always icy. The climate near the Atlantic Ocean. Europe's weather is heavily influenced by the Atlantic Ocean, especially along the coast. Poland and Russia in Eastern Europe have colder winters compared to France and Great Britain. Let's explore how the ocean influences the weather in Europe. Westerlies. The westerlies bring warmth and moisture to Europe, while the Gulf Stream prevents coastal waters from freezing. Enabling year-round ship visits to ports in North America and Europe. The North Sea's fishing industry benefits from the moisture brought by the westerlies, which is important for the European diet. Mediterranean countries. Southern Europe is known as the Mediterranean region, which is near the Mediterranean Sea. The climate, with mild winters and hot summers, is ideal for growing fruits like olives, figs, grapes, and oranges. Seasons of Europe. Winter, spring, summer, and autumn, each with their unique environmental changes, have effects on farming. In winter, November and December bring cold temperatures and occasional snow. Mountains get more snow and days are shorter with late sunrises and early sunsets. Deciduous trees lose leaves. In March, spring brings longer days. Melting snow, budding trees, blooming flowers, and farmers planting crops. In summer, from June to August, ample sunlight and longer days benefit farming in northern countries. Mild temperatures and occasional rain showers promote crop growth. In autumn, the weather shifts and leaves drop, farm work ends, hay is gathered, and grapes are harvested for wine. jams, juices, and preserves. Land and agriculture. Europe looks different throughout the year because of the changing season. On average, a country has a farming season of 8 to 10 months annually, which is longer than France and other European countries, which typically have a farming period of 6 to 7 months. European plains and river valleys are fertile for farming due to rain and rivers. But mountains offer limited farming land. Winter farming in Europe is limited to one crop in the east and north. But two crops can be grown in the south. Europe's plains are primarily used for wheat, maize, rye, barley, and oats cultivation, with major producers. Southern Europe specializes in fruits like apples, pears, oranges, palm, olives, and particularly grapes for wine production. Agricultural Revolution. The agricultural revolution in Europe led to large-scale farming, displacing small farmers and pushing them to seek jobs in cities. European farms. In Europe, farming is done on large farms with spacious houses and separate sections for animals, grain storage, poultry, and pigs. Farmers use heavy machinery to sell their produce and store meat, cheese, and wine. They get their necessities from nearby towns. Modern agriculture. In Europe, agriculture is a business where farmers sell their produce and buy necessary items. They use modern techniques and receive government subsidies to sustain farming in rural areas. Discovery of sea routes. Unlike many Asian countries, Western Europe had convenient ocean access. Skilled European sailors traded silk and spices with India and China for gold and silver. Through two main routes, one by land through the Middle East, Iran and Afghanistan, and the other by sea through the Red Sea and Arabian Sea. Conclusion. Europe's nature is filled with forests, mountains, vast plains, long rivers, deep blue seas, and refreshing lakes.